Today I will be looking at Railway Empire 2, and it's not like I'm going to tell you how to play or what to do. I'm going to give a kind of my review on the game. I've been playing it a little bit and I learned certain things here and there, but I am far from an expert, and if you're looking for somewhere to get tips and hints, that might be down the line, but at this moment, no. There is plenty of YouTubers out there which has put in a lot of tips and hints and given what you can and should do and all that. What I'm going to do in this video is showing a little bit about how to start a game as a new gamer and see how it goes. It is only a review, it's not an instruction in how to play. So I choose a new game. I'm not going into the campaign now, that is quite tricky. I hate playing sandbox mode, so I stay out of that as well. So we go to custom game. That would set up a game which runs from 1830 to how long you want. I haven't managed to play a whole one yet. You can choose North America or Europe. You can choose the whole map, or you can take parts of that and you start different places. What I will take, I will take the British Isles. It suggests I start in Birmingham. Actually, I will not. You can click around through the names, or you can choose them on the map. I will start in London. That is where I would if it was real life. So then continue. You choose your engineer, and you see they all have. You choose who you are. They all have different bonuses, pros and cons, and I am actually not sure which one is the best one. I have taken this a couple of times because it has lower cost for tracks, tunnels and bridges, and I mean that makes my money go further. You can change the name to your name. So you can change the name of your company. Whatever you wish. You can set the abbreviation for it. Whatever you like again. You continue. You can choose how many competitors you have, up to 3. I stick with 0 because this is just demonstrating how the game works. So I do that. I don't change anything else. You can't change the money to higher than 3 million. So let's start the game and see actually how it looks when you get into it.
Aha! Good that you're here. You have no competitors in this region, but there is much to do and little time. I have already prepared your to-do list.
So this is your kind of advisor. What I have done so far, I always look at the task list. do all of these and it will give you good points when you end the game. Transport a total of 4,000 passengers. Yeah, that seems okay. Rural businesses producing meat. Rural businesses in general. 2 cities, train connections with express status. And so on. And yeah, that seems doable. There is some time limits on. So you do look. This one could be a very tricky one, but what I will actually do first is connect London to Dover, so we are there. But let me show you a little bit about the different things. Multiplayer is a little bit tricky. You have to start as a single player and then you go in and you invite people with this code and then they can play with you. It's corporate, so you share everything. That is a little bit weird. I might make some video about that at some point when I play with my kids and we can see how that looks. Tips and tricks. It comes up with kind of information. Your company, that's what you have. This is before I do that, I should actually just stop the time because that was the task list, the company, everything you have, your quarterly report. That's actually a good thing to keep an eye on so you can see if you start losing money in certain areas. We can buy shares. We can issue bonds if we don't have enough money. Just be aware that's an expensive way of borrowing money. You can buy stocks in different things. I haven't really got that to work overly well yet, but I think it might with a little bit of practice. And statistics, so if you're into statistics you can see different things, how you are progressing. There's research, and you have to research through everything, and as you progress through it you get more and more options and end up with very, very good trains. Well, I say very good trains. It's still the era of steam and we end with the Mallard, so it goes up to 1930 in progress. But you can actually play pretty much everything up to then, and you can continue after that. It doesn't stop the game, but you are limited with the things. So you start with some innovation point. You count 60 per month, so it takes time to get through it, but I take these two from the beginning because they give you higher passenger price and more passengers, which means you earn more money from the beginning. So you have to connect cities with train stations, and so let me put that there first. You have the green area where you can put your station. Red areas you can't. So if you come in there you can't. So always put your stations where you kind of okay, I have to first one in London, of course. And unfortunately in London it already built my headquarters, so but always put your station so you can get in and out of the city. So, but as I have to make Dover the biggest town, then I will start connecting that. And I'm just playing, I'm not explaining everything I do. I know and have a tendency to do that, but so when you plan, that's one thing I have learned, think which lines you might be using, because it's not always the best to take the first and simplest line from station to station. For instance, this we need to get to Dover, that is better. It comes from the first track, maybe even the two first tracks. So if I take the third track and connect to London, and I actually do the same in London, so I have something to leverage with. So this will cost 711,000 because it has built a tunnel. I don't really want the tunnel, so you can get rid of that. Not saying the tunnels is bad, but it's very expensive, especially in the start of the game. So I build that, and I will build a second track. Which will give me ability to run more trains on it. So always look what they produce. They produce beer, so do they. So beer will not really be a thing between these two towns. So I will focus on running passenger service first. Therefore we only need two tracks. But if we want to start mixing freight and passengers, well, that's another situation. And when you have two tracks, decide which way goes what. You have to set up the direction of the train. So you have to build supply tower, and the advice is always put it so it doesn't interfere with your gridiron for your tracks, and you can actually build around your cities. That's one thing I have learned. So we're ready to put up a line, London to Dover. That is done by clicking on the green. You can... No, I'll leave it with that, because there is some changes which can be done later. We only have one train, so one type of train, so I'll build two trains, and I will actually put them as express, so they only take passengers and mail. One of the things which have been mentioned, that people have problems making money, and I fully understand that. I've been struggling with that as well. So And one thing I absolutely love is that you can follow the train and see where it's driving. So I put this down in a ditch pretty much, and it runs. You can follow it on the tracks. I would say the landscape is not overly inspiring, but you can get a little bit of idea where we are in the world. Especially when you get close to mountains and stuff like that. In Europe, you can actually see it's the Alps, it's the Pyrenees, it got the outline, but here in the British Isles, it's a little bit dull, but it's a good effort to make something which is actually a little bit for everyone, because this is the part that many railroad enthusiasts would actually love. And as the towns grow, or cities, I don't really know whether we should call it A or B, but it is technically towns, but because they are not very big, but in British terms they might actually be cities. So the train will always take the shortest route, and but if you have gridiron on, it will always take the free track. So it is relatively intelligent. So now the money is coming in. The train is being unloaded. I can see what's coming in, and you notice that the weather is also kind of showing on the landscape. So I have two trains on this route, so they will just pop across as things goes. So now we need to start looking into other things, and that's the rural businesses. They provide goods to your towns. There is some demands. You see, this actually get some from this by road, and it's actually enough to
another task checked off.
It's enough to provide everything that the town needs. So we don't need to actually build anything there. The other one there's grain there. And again, grain is provided by road, so we don't really need to go into that. However, as we produce beer here, it needs more than I think it shows. So that might be a good idea to actually do two trains from there. One to London and one to Dover. So let's start putting a station there. And you can see the green line is telling whether you are getting too far away. So the shorter the line, the better it actually is. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put it very close to the other line. Putting one from here to here. So I recommend that you actually look at the tutorial because it actually gives a lot of help. But also don't be afraid of actually playing. It's absolutely fine. This will go down here and then return empty, so it's only going to be loading. I set it at freight because there's no need to try to take passengers there. It will not have any demand. You will see that it don't only cities have a demand. No. Oh, I am speaking bollocks, but you can see here how much is waiting for transport, how much is using, so that is, and I already got one of the tasks. That is a very easy one. So I will provide the other line from Scottish west to London. Question is, do I need anyone going that way out? I am not sure, so I'm actually, and I tend to take the roll businesses from the business to the town, because then I can better separate them, and I put one of these on. So that is the first roll, the first train line, and I think that's enough for one video, so I'm going to break it up and then start the next one.